Hey guys, so this is the 7Hz Timeless 2. This is the successor to the immensely popular and loved the OG 7Hz Timeless. And according to 7Hz, this pair has an upgraded planar diaphragm that enhances its responsiveness. Leaving those jargons aside, let me assure you, once you try this pair, you'll just melt into the bliss of what a legitimately great planar magnetic in-ear monitor can sound like. So let's begin. So the 7Hz Timeless 2 comes in this box, nothing too fancy, looks rather neat. Sliding off the outer cover, we get this box inside, and inside the box you get some paperwork, numerous pairs of different size silicone ear tips, 3 sets of tuning nozzles with different sound signatures, while one of them come attached with the in-ear monitor themselves, an absolute specimen of an all-metal large carrying case to carry your in-ear monitors and their accessories in, and just have a listen to this. Quite excessive. A very high quality oxygen-free copper silver-plated cable with 2 pin connectors on one end, and on the other end you have a modular plug system where you can attach the supplied 3.5mm stereo plug or the 4.4mm balanced plug. And of course you get the 7Hz Timeless 2 in-ear monitors themselves. Now as for the specs of the 7Hz Timeless 2, this houses a 14.5mm planar magnetic driver, which they claim to be the first dual-side coated diaphragm that apparently enhances the overall responsiveness. And it has an impedance of 15.2 ohms. But a portable DAC is absolutely necessary to drive these and make sure that they sound their best, as I can guarantee that if you don't pair this with a legitimately good DAC, they'll sound quite weak and pale. So what I suggest is that you get a portable DAC like this. Nothing too fancy or expensive, just something that can make sure that these can perform to their full potential without leaving any volume or audio quality in the tank. And what you end up getting is exactly what you paid for, which is high fidelity audio. And as always, the one that I personally use will be linked in the description below. Now as mentioned, the 7Hz Timeless 2 comes with some extra pairs of tuning nozzles. So the in-ear monitor themselves come attached with the flathead golden tuning nozzle, and apart from that you get 3 other pairs. So you have a flathead silver tuning nozzle, you have a bullet-shaped silver tuning nozzle and a bullet-shaped gold tuning nozzle, each with slightly different tuning or sound signatures. Now as for the build quality, the build of this pair is premium in every sense. It's built like a tank and has no resin anywhere. It's all metal. The faceplate has a nice texture and the overall feel is very robust. Yet being all metal and feeling so hefty, it is still very lightweight and ergonomic even for extended listening sessions. The cable also feels quite sturdy and premium, and it doesn't tangle easily thanks to its moderate thickness and weight. Also, the modular plug system gives users further flexibility for connection to various devices, and the plug's enclosure feels very sturdy as well. Alright, now let's get into the main criteria, which is the audio quality. Now as you know, sound is majorly made up of 3 major frequencies: the highs, the mids and the lows. The highs are the treble response, where the really sharp sounding instruments are, the mids where the vocals are, and the low end or the bass response. Alright, starting off with the highs or the treble response, the Timeless 2 absolutely excels at the treble response. It is one of the most well-balanced, nuanced and detailed rendition of the treble response that I've heard in a while. It offers a beautiful blend of detail, technicality and richness that brings out even the most minute details in the track. What truly stands out is the richness in the high frequency range. It sounds full, has excellent but controlled extension, and every instrument is distinctly audible even in the busiest of tracks. Even at peak volume, there was no sibilance and makes for a very airy and laid-back listening experience, especially for those long listening sessions. While the response stays mostly the same overall, it's a good idea to try out the different tuning nozzles to be sure you're using the one that suits your taste with their subtle differences. Next up, we have the mid frequencies where the vocals are. Now the mids have a balanced, mostly neutral response with a touch of warmth. Not overly bright or forward, yet vocals sound sufficiently prominent and smooth. The vocals may sound lean, but it still somehow carries enough warmth, and the tonality is very natural, again making these an easy recommendation for laid-back listening. instruments sound authentic and maintain excellent separation from one another while maintaining an overall neutral tonality. So whether it's the piano or the guitar, they sound smooth, rich, and detailed without going overboard. And finally, we come to the low end or the bass response. The low end on these are unapologetically sub-low heavy. The rumble is deep and tickles your brains on almost every bass heavy track. The bass is your quintessential planar magnetic one, tight, punchy with incredible depth. It's fast, well-textured, and adds depth to the track without cannibalizing the other frequencies. On the flip side though, the mid-bass is not as thick. Not absent by any means, but the sub-lows absolutely steal the show here. Personally, I loved it as it caters to my cravings for deep bass, but it'll vary from one individual to another depending on what type of bass response that you want. But if it's deep, rumbly, sub-low heavy bass that you're looking for, the 7Hz Timeless 2 delivers. Now the soundstage on these are sufficiently wide, but what I enjoyed the most was the imaging that let me close my eyes and comprehend the position of instruments in the track and how each instrument was individually audible even in very busy tracks. Alright guys, just to summarize, the 7Hz Timeless 2 is exactly what you'd want and expect from a planar magnetic driver, but somehow it manages to pull ahead of all the other planar in-ear monitors that I've heard in the past in terms of the sheer richness, balance, layered rendition, and the absolute monstrosity that is the bass response. With the subtle differences you get with its different tuning nozzles, you get to further narrow in on exactly the type of sound signature that you prefer. While subtle, they still offer an audible difference, so make sure to try those out when selecting your preferred sound signature. And add to that its premium feel, accessories, and comfort, and what you get is a pair that is absolutely worthy of its asking price. So there you have it guys, that was my review of the 7Hz Timeless 2. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have any other further questions regarding this, do hit me up in the comment section below. As always, the link to this, the DAC, all other audio accessories will be placed in the description below for your convenience, and I would really appreciate if you use those links to make your purchase and help me run this channel so that I can produce more such high quality and helpful content just for you guys. So thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment, share this video, and I'll catch you guys very soon in the next one. Cheers.